Well, hello there, it's Beards and Bangers, and today you find me giving you an update on a car that I thought would have sold but didn't, and a decision I've come to about that particular car, and I'll give you an update about that car. I'm going to give you a plan, so we'll have a look and see which car we're talking about.
Welcome to Beards and Bangers.
So the car I'm talking about is Bram, my Rover 200 BRM. So it just didn't sell. It just wasn't getting what it needed. Obviously it does need a little bit doing to it, and I wasn't asking top dollar, but I just don't think people have got spare money. So what I'm going to do is have a walk around Bram and tell you what I'm going to do now that I'm keeping him. So Bram is staying on the channel with me, and we're going to actually get him round to make him a really nice car. Yeah, so we'll start under the bonnet. So obviously, yeah, we need to give this a bit of a clean up, tidy up, get paint on areas that are rusty, give it a bit of a clean, and yes, we'll treat anything that needs treating. The one thing we've got to investigate is some of the electric. So as I probably reported in the past, the heated rear windscreen, when the switch is plugged in, turns itself on. So there's some kind of issue somewhere. Not at the back of the car, because the wiring's been sorted out there. So it could be the relay, could be, you know, the wiring behind the dash. So we need to find out why the battery's draining, because that is a pain in the bottom. Gonna keep the exhaust standard up here, because these cars, the 1.8 the 1.8 exhaust manifolds do breathe really well. I've obviously already got a performance air filter, panel air filter in there, so it looks stock. I want to keep this car looking as stock as possible, apart from one little thing which I'll tell you about in a sec. The other thing I'm going to do, so for those of you who don't know, 200 BRMs put out about 143 brake horsepower, or they certainly were supposed to when they came out of the factory. So I am going to get the ECU remapped and get this hopefully putting out between 160 and 170 brake horsepower, which will just make it, yeah, just make it do what it can do really well. So that's under the bonnet. If we now go to the back of the car, we can have a look at what we're going to do here. Let's open Bram's little bottom up. Yeah, so we're going to get this panel here rebuilt. So you can see there's some kind of silicone or mastic or something nasty around the hinges. There's also this little crusty patch there. So you've basically got four panels kind of crimping into one here. So yeah, we'll get this rebuilt. Potentially there is a donor car available to do that, but that's potentially, that's not definite. So yeah, we'll get that done. We'll talk about the headlining and the interior in a sec. Yeah, we've got a stock exhaust on here at the moment. There it is. Yeah, so that's going to be replaced with this Yanspeed. This is the back box. I have got the correct centre pipe for this, but I'm probably going to let Austin use that for his ZR. I did say he could do that, so I do need a Yanspeed stainless centre pipe for this car. So if anyone has got one with a resonator on it, then please do get in touch, because that will be very handy. Otherwise I've got to try and hunt round for another centre pipe. Don't really want a straight through pipe on these, because they're just a little bit too noisy. But I just think a slightly fruitier, slightly freer flowing exhaust is gonna work really well with this car, and that's really going to be the only majorly visible thing that's not stock. So obviously we've got the stock exhaust in there at the moment. We're going to have that oval tip. It'll look a bit prouder, but I think, you know, it'll sound nice, and yeah, make things a bit more sporty. Going to lower the car by probably 25 mil as well, just to, you know, if we're going to increase the power, just to give the handling a bit, you know, slightly firmer feel. For cornering, etc, etc. Brakes are fine on these. They're a good brake setup. Got discs on the back. Someone actually asked me earlier if BRMs had drums on the back. No, they don't. They come with discs. So the brakes on this are actually okay. So that's the back of the car. One job we have got to do. I don't know how well you're going to see this, but there's actually now a bit of a hole in the sill down here. This is the driver's side. and there's another patch of welding that was done for the MOT last year that needs redoing. So Bram's MOT is coming up on the what was it, 24th of October, I think, on this car. So there'll be some welding done at that point. So that's when he'll be taken off the road. Haven't actually yet, just while I'm here thinking about it, I've never actually tried to open the sunroof. So when this car is undercover, we will open this sunroof and see what happens. I'm just really nervous of doing it too soon. So that's sort of the exterior engine bay and other bits and bobs. There's a bit of this scuff on the bumper here. It had polished out, but in this bright sunshine it's pretty visible again. There's actually some polish residue in there, which I need to get around this with a detailing brush and give that a good clean at some point. But yeah, that's going to need touching in. That scuff, yeah, in this daylight is more noticeable. I thought it had polished out. Yeah, at least this bumper's now realigned. So this was done earlier in the year, but we do need to get some new light seals round there. We'll have a little look inside as well. So I'll just open him up. Yeah, so the headlining here is pretty tatty. Now I am going to be ordering quite a lot of headlining fabric fairly soon, because I've got 4 headlinings to do. God, I must be a glutton for punishment. But we'll leave this one as long as possible, because obviously if we're going to be welding up the roof at the back there's no point changing the headlining and then taking it down again. So I might as well take it out once and get it covered up. Once. But yeah, it's not the worst headlining I've seen by any means in one of these cars, but it definitely does need doing. The nice thing with this car is the seats and the carpet are actually pretty okay. And of course, yeah, we've got to get the switch working properly and looking nice. And also what I'd really like to do is get a proper period radio in there, although I do like my CDs. So yeah, we'll think about that one. We'll certainly think about that one. I have got a couple of correct cassette players for this car. I'm not getting in the car today because it is roasting hot, and I don't want to melt onto my lovely red leather seats. Now, one important thing I forgot to mention when I was at the engine bay a minute ago was the cam belts. We'll get the timing belt done before any remap. I don't think this has ever had an oil service. I'm pretty sure I've not had this serviced. So while it's in, we'll get that serviced as well and get the cam belt done, so it's ready to take that additional power. But yeah, let's just drop the bonnet down, which I'll do one-handed. Anyway, I'll have a look at the red seats for a moment. I won't close it fully because I'm actually disconnecting the battery at the moment. But yeah, here's a reminder. Here's Bram. Bram is staying with me. I've been at this point twice before, but this time, you know, I had a good go at selling it. He didn't sell. I'm going to keep him. There we are. So thank you for watching this little update on Bram, who's now staying on the Beards and Bangers fleet. Don't forget to do the usual like, subscribe and share. Please do that, it's greatly appreciated. Also look out for a second channel that I'm going to be bringing you fairly soon about cooking. It'll be a separate channel because I want to keep cars on one channel, cooking on the other. So I'm going to be doing a cooking channel very soon. So thank you for watching. I will see you again very soon on the next episode of Beards and Bangers. Goodbye.